Hello everyone, welcome to Carnivorous Plants Hub. Today we are going to be talking about growing Venus flytraps from seeds. We're going to be talking about everything that you need to do. We're going to go over all the equipment that you need. We're going to talk about soil, planters, general care, watering, kind of everything from A to Z so that you have all the tools that you need to grow Venus flytraps from seeds. Let's go ahead and start off this video by just talking about what you're going to need. All right, the first and probably most obvious thing is you're going to need some Venus flytrap seeds. Stick around because we're going to be talking about seeds. We're going to make sure that you know how to get your hands on good seeds because it's really easy to get your hands on bad seeds that are not actually Venus flytrap seeds. So stick around for that. You need some type of a humidity dome. You can see I have these aluminum trays here from the dollar store. Any type of humidity dome will really work. You just need something with a lid. You can see these have the plastic lid on them here so that we can cover it up and keep the humidity in. We need some soil. This is a peat moss, perlite, and silica sand mix. So you're gonna have to have some kind of a soil for planting your seeds, and you're gonna need some type of a planter. I'm going with a little bit different. Usually I do something a little bit smaller, but I've decided to go ahead and increase the size of my planter so I don't have to remove the Venus flytraps from their planter as soon. I can keep them in here for a year, maybe even two, depending on the conditions of the soil. These are 4 inches wide and 3 inches deep. So planter, you're gonna need some water. I got my watering can over here, distilled water. You need something that doesn't have any minerals in it. I'm not gonna go over the water too much, but definitely some distilled water or reverse osmosis water. Rainwater really works. That's probably everything you're really gonna need to get this process started. Okay, we're actually gonna start this off by talking about seeds. So I have some seeds here. Right, so obviously one of the most important parts of this whole thing is getting Venus flytrap seeds. So you can see here, these are Venus flytrap seeds. If your seeds don't look like this, then you don't have Venus flytrap seeds. They have kind of a teardrop shape and they're pure black. If they look anything different, they're definitely not Venus flytrap seeds. It's actually really easy to get fake Venus flytrap seeds online if you order on Amazon or really any other place that's not verified or somewhere that you know sells carnivorous plants. Like you can get Venus flytrap seeds from California Carnivores when they're on sale, or sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. I actually bought these from somebody named Stephen Wang on Facebook Marketplace. Stephen always sells really high quality seeds, and I've always gotten really good seeds from him for a fair price. The other thing too is that they are a little more expensive than other seeds, so expect to pay a little bit more. If you're seeing somebody advertise them for like 10 cents a seed or something, then they're probably not legitimate. Venus flytrap seeds sometimes go for around 50 cents to $1 a seed, sometimes a little more expensive than that depending on where you're getting them, but this is definitely what the seeds look like. And real quick, while I'm talking about Steven and the amazing seeds that he sells, I just wanted to give a shout out to his YouTube channel that he runs with his children, Evan M. Carnivorium. It's a really cool channel. They're just kind of starting out and getting things going, but I did want to give them kind of a plug because I watched one of their videos the other day and they take fertilizing Venus flytraps with Maxi, and it's definitely changed the way that I look at fertilizing, and it's going to completely change the way that I fertilize my plants next year during growing season and when these start to get big enough to fertilize. But yeah, go over there, give them a subscription, check out that channel, and hopefully you enjoy their content as much as I have enjoyed it up to this point. But so let's go ahead and get to the next part here. Okay, now that I've introduced you to the seeds and you kind of have a better idea of what to look for in seeds, the shape of them and all that stuff, let's go ahead and talk about the planters you're going to need, these humidity domes, what I use those for, and kind of why I have these paper towels in the bottom here of my planters. The paper towel is optional. It's not something that you have to do, but it's something that I've realized over the last couple of years that really helps keep the substrate on the bottom of the planter, and also helps wick up the water. So if you just tear off a piece of paper towel that's just big enough to cover the bottom, and make sure you have a planter that has holes, because we are going to be watering from the bottom inside of these trays. This paper will actually really help make sure that the water continues to get wicked up and that these holes don't get plugged. What we're going to have to do here is make sure that you have a plastic planter. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video you have some knowledge of Venus flytraps, and I'm not going to get into a super in-depth care video on Venus flytraps in general. This is more in regards to planting seeds. If you want to see a video that goes more in depth on actual Venus flytrap care, I strongly recommend watching a video that I have in the description. It's 10 minutes on Venus flytrap care, everything you need to know. But since you're going the seed route, I'm assuming you have a little bit more Venus flytrap knowledge. So you want to make sure that your substrate is like a peat moss or a sphagnum moss mix, something that doesn't have any minerals or fertilizer in it. You want to avoid that stuff. You want to make sure that your water is distilled water or reverse osmosis water or rainwater, that kind of thing. So, okay, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take these and we're gonna start filling them up with some soil. So I'm gonna grab my soil here. Now what I like to do is I like to get a little bit in the bottom there, about a third, maybe a little bit under half of the way up, and I like to pack it down just a little bit. And what that does is it makes sure that that substrate stays in contact with that paper towel, and it pushes that paper towel down on the bottom so that you can make sure that those holes are always in contact with the bottom, so that we make sure that that water always gets wicked up. So smash it down on the bottom there, and then the next layer that you're gonna put in here, the top layer, is actually going to be a little bit more loose. Okay, you wanna put this top layer of soil in, and it's gonna be a little more loose. You don't wanna pack it, you don't want it to be too loose, but you also don't wanna pack it down too much, because if you pack it down too much and it gets to be a little too hard, you need water, you need this to be aerated really well, and you need water to be able to go all the way through, and to make sure the water can get through to the whole pot. So you don't wanna pack it down super hard so it turns into a brick. That bottom part's okay for it to be a little bit harder, but up here we wanna make sure that the roots can get through it really well and that the water can go through really well. So pack it down a little bit, but just make sure you don't pack it down too much on the top part. And then for all your planters, you're just gonna kind of rinse and repeat. There we go. So as you can see, I got all my pots filled up. This one actually has just a little bit too much. See how it's kind of filled up to the brim? I don't like going quite that high, so I'm just gonna scoop a little bit of that off, just in case the seeds roll off or something like that. If they go down just a little bit under the brim, I think it's a little bit better. As you can see, what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that your peat moss mix is nice and wet before you get into potting. If you pot this with the peat moss dry, it doesn't work very well, and it's kind of hard to work with. And some of mine had kind of dried out at the bottom a little bit, so this might be a little bit tricky. But then what I like to do after that is I do like to give them just a little bit of a water at the top. Now the water is going to go through to the bottom, which is just fine. But what this will do is this will actually make sure that the soil settles, so that when I water these in the future, see how it's settling there? See how those holes are kind of starting? This is settled so that when I put these seeds on here and I start watering them, if I ever do a top water or anything like that, this soil's already settled. There you can see, you can see how much those went down. You can see quite a bit. So what I'll do is I'll just take a little bit and just kind of put on the top of these a little bit so that there's just a little bit more soil there. These are actually ready to go, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get our seeds onto the first planter here. All right, so you can see here I have several different packets of seeds here that I'm going to be putting into each planter. I actually have one packet of seeds for each planter, and then what I'll do is I'll just tape the name of it to the planter. One thing that's really important to keep in mind when you're growing Venus flytraps from seeds versus propagation is that seed-grown Venus flytraps do not necessarily retain the genetics of what their parents were. You could get some different variations. So if you grow a Venus flytrap from seeds, you actually can't necessarily label and resell those Venus flytraps as that mix. You see this is a big vigorous Darwin. If these grow, I can't necessarily resell those as that. I can say that that's where the parent seeds came from, but I do have to label these as typical because a seed-grown Venus flytrap does not necessarily maintain the genetics of its parent. So the parent Venus flytraps, if you want to maintain the genetics, you have to propagate them either from leaf cuttings or flower stalk cuttings, that kind of thing. Propagation is really the only way to actually retain the genetics and to resell Venus flytraps as a cultivar. These are all the seed packets that I got from Steven, 8 different. He actually threw in a couple extra for me, which he does sometimes if you buy a big enough quantity. I think I got all these for right around 30 bucks for all these seeds, so a pretty good deal. I think there's around like 10 seeds in each of these packets, so we'll be doing around 10 seeds or so into each of these planters, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be putting the seeds onto the substrate here, and I got it a little bit closer for you just so you can see a little bit better at the operation here. Now, there's a couple different ways that people like to do this. Some people like to position their seeds kind of in the areas that they want, and you're more than welcome to do that. Or if you want, you could just kind of dump the seeds onto there and just let them grow where they lie. I kind of like to do a little bit of a mix of both. So I put my seeds on a piece of paper like this, and then I kind of tap the paper as I go along like that, so that they're kind of spread out and they're not all together. So like that. So that's the simple, super lazy way of doing it. I like to pat them down just a little bit to make sure that those are staying in contact with the substrate. One thing that people do commonly ask about is stratification, and according to Steven, he's never had to stratify these seeds. He hasn't been doing it for 5 years. He's had really good success. He actually says that it's close to 100% success on germination with these without any type of stratification, regardless of age of the Venus flytrap seeds. So fresh seeds, old seeds. If you buy seeds from Steven, you do not need to stratify your Venus flytrap seeds. If you don't know what stratification is, it's just kind of put them in a cold temperature and letting them sit for a long time, and sometimes that helps seeds germinate, but you do not have to do that with Steven's seeds. After you've either placed your seeds or just kind of dropped your seeds onto the substrate, what I like to do is just give it a little bit of a mist. I don't want to come in here with my water can and do another big watering on top. What I want to do here is, what'll happen is it'll actually help the seeds have some sort of contact. They'll settle in a little bit and they'll be in contact with the substrate. So I just like to give it a little bit of water on the top just to make sure that everything is settled and that the seeds are in contact with the substrate. So some people like to put the seed in and cover it up just a little bit. I've done it both ways, and both ways seem to work just as well. From a germination standpoint, I got similar germination when I covered them versus just leaving them on top. So I think if you just kind of leave them on top, you're probably fine. This is the way that I'm doing it for this one, and big vigorous Darwin. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with these guys for my next. You can kind of see them in there. See the little seeds in there. All these Venus flytrap seeds are going to look incredibly similar. You're not gonna see much variation in what the seed looks like from cultivar to cultivar. For the most part, they should be basically exactly the same. We're gonna go ahead and tap. 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 There we go. Seeds are in there. And we spray on the top here. Make sure that those are good and contacted. There we go. Okay, now that we've got them all planted, let's talk about care real quick. So what I'm gonna do with these is I actually like growing my Venus flytraps by seed over the winter, over the non-growing season for Venus flytraps, because it gives me something to do with Venus flytraps while all my other ones are in dormancy. So what I like to do is I personally like to grow these indoors under grow lights while they start, and then come next spring, if they're big enough, I'll acclimate them to the sun and get them growing in full sun outdoors, because that's what Venus flytraps like the most. For the winter, if you haven't seen my grow tent with my new Barina grow lights, I do have Barina grow lights that I'm going to be using on wire shelving in my grow tent to help with the humidity a little bit. So that's my growing conditions. What we'll do is we're actually going to take these humidity domes and we're going to put them over here like so. And that's why I get these humidity domes. I get these from the dollar store. They're super cheap. If you want to get like a real humidity dome that has like the nice little controls on the top so you can let some air in, those are kind of cool. You can get those off Amazon. They're pretty affordable. I'll link a couple in the description for you so that you can go get those. What I'll do is I'll keep the humidity dome on these most of the time. I'll probably pull it off like once every 2 or 3 days to give them a couple hours of air, to get some airflow inside of here, because we will start to see probably a little bit of mold grow on these with the humidity domes. That's a really common issue. I will have a fan on them. The best way to combat that is with a little bit of airflow. Overall, it's not too big of a problem. I usually don't worry about it too much. As long as you got some decent airflow, you should probably not have too much mold, but different people in different conditions will experience different types of mold and different volumes of mold. So that is something to consider and something to be aware of. I'll probably have these under 12 hours of light a day, and I will keep these trays watered all the time. I will not let these go dry ever. With normal Venus flytrap care, I do let my Venus flytraps dry out a little bit between watering because they are kind of subject to crown rot. These I will not, as they're growing and they're still really young while they're germinating and getting ready to germinate. I think that the humidity and the moisture is really important. I've split tested Venus flytraps that I germinated with humidity dome and without a humidity dome, and the humidity dome 100% gets you better results whether you're propagating or growing from seed. So I will definitely be keeping these under the humidity domes, giving them a lot of extra humidity. Venus flytraps in their full adult growth form, they don't need a lot of humidity, so you don't have to keep them in these domes or any type of terrarium or anything like that. So I only do that while they're growing, and once they reach a certain height, I'll take the domes off, and then I'll just treat them like an adult Venus flytrap. But for now, until they get a little bit bigger, I'll definitely do that. If you have any questions or you want to know about anything, leave a comment in the description. Another thing is really important for you to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to bring you lots of updates on these so we can kind of watch them together and I can kind of show you my results, if it's working. If something's not working, I'll share that as well, because I think that's also really important for you to see what's not working. And if you're really interested in growing Venus flytraps, I'm assuming you are because you're here learning how to grow them from seed, definitely go check out my other video that's going to pop up on the screen here in just a moment, so you can learn everything you need to know about Venus flytrap care. And that's really important because they are kind of an unusual plant. So before you do the seeds, make sure you understand how to care for them. Check that video out now, and I'll hope to catch you in my next video. Bye.